Welcome to beautiful Shanghai, China, where the weather is hot, but the games are gonna be hotter. This is the 6th IEM to take place. Intel Extreme Masters hitting this country so often as of late, and the lineup here could not be better. I am Artosis, of course, joined by these wonderful gentlemen, Rotterdam and Todd. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. Well, I think I can speak for both of us. Roddy, happy to be there, happy to be back in Shanghai for some more 6 StarCraft action since last year, where we saw Uthermal being successful, and can't wait to find out which one of these beautiful players, fantastic ones, is going to be the champ.
Yeah.
Always excited to be here. Excited for another tournament. We've been spoiled lately as StarCraft II fans. There's so many tournaments in the summer.
know.
But it's the first time we go to China in quite some time, even though we've had a lot of IEM events here in the past. This is pretty much the first event we have here this year. So that's awesome. It's good to be here. Player lineup, I love it. You are one lucky nerd because you get to cast these guys all the time, but we don't. We're mostly on the foreign scene. So awesome opportunity for Todd and I and all the other casters. This is going to be fun, man.
We're stepping in your world here, Artosis.
Indeed we are. And guys, we have been to China so many times with Intel Extreme Masters. Do you remember this one so far back? Starting off in Guangzhou with Hydra over Elfie.
And he was thrilled. He was incredibly excited.
Perhaps the angriest win in a tournament I've ever seen.
Of course, after that, we had Revival winning one of his only big StarCraft II tournaments. That was a fun tournament as well. He took care of Oz in the finals. And that may not sound too surprising, but the one thing that really stood out there is that Oz beat Dong Rui Gu in the quarters.
Yeah.
So a lot of people thought he could do well against Revival. No, Revival won 4-0 back then. Feels like a lifetime ago, and well, it almost is.
It really does indeed. Miss those guys a lot. And of course, everyone misses him. TvZ with a dominating performance way back in Shenzhen.
Yeah, that was a sick tournament as well, because back then a lot of people said, yeah, TvZ is good, but he's not good enough against the top Koreans. He can't beat the Kespa guys.
Yeah, that was like, I remember the whole debate of Kespa against the guys outside of Kespa, and to which TvZ said, no, not yet, guys.
And of course, the win toss. This was the most stacked Protoss tournament like ever. I remember he won PvP after PvP to get through that one. Of course, Snoot had a good running. That was a really fun event as well.
Absolutely. I mean, our man Rain, I know you love Rain as much as I do, was still there as well. Just an awesome win, and yet another win for Classic back then.
And then, of course, 2016, last year, Uthermal finally winning a big top-tier event over Neeb in the finals, who you look back and it's like, well, that was even more impressive now that you think about it.
Yeah, that was a turning point in his career at the time. He thought about going full-time streamer, even talk about retirement a little bit, and then there he was winning a big tournament here over in China. So a great moment that I think a lot of people are going to look at and think it was really memorable of a victory for him. And I'm pretty sure that we might be saying the same thing about whoever wins there, because there's been so many Intel Extreme Masters that, you know, sometimes it's hard to piece together the champions.
Yeah.
But some of those wins stand out a little bit more, and with how stacked this tournament is here, whoever comes out on top is going to be remembered.
This is quietly like one of the most stacked tournaments of the year. I feel like there is not the hype that this deserves so far. We have just so many great players that have flown in, mostly from Korea, but a couple of Chinese locals as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. You look at these groups and you're like, all right, is this the GSL? Where's Tasteless to tell us we're live from Seoul, Korea?
He loves us, guys.
Yeah.
He'll see us next time.
He does still love us, even when he's not here. Now, it's going to be awesome. I love the lineup as well. The groups, I think we do have some favorites in some of the groups. Obviously, we're going to talk about it, but if you have to pinpoint a winner, good luck, have fun with that.
Oh, no, I know.
Artosis will still try.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I get to be up here all day doing that. Of course, last night we had a really nice welcome dinner on the 50th floor of our hotel, and it rotated around. There was good food, good times to be had by all.
Yeah, it took us some time actually to realize how that was rotating. You know, like we're actually going around like the whole buffet thing, but yeah, everybody was having fun, and I guess meal tips were exchanged. Advice about how to play and all, and Venter, that was Kevin Observer right there, and a couple birthdays being celebrated. Innovation and Kyle Harrison born on the same day, of all things.
Isn't
that's so much in common, right?
Yeah, and you see even Todd there cheering for Innovation's birthday, and then Caleris. Of course, his birthday actually was yesterday. He got to spend it on a plane and then eating dinner with us last night, so cheers to him for coming out once again. But
He wouldn't have it any other way. You know, he's so happy to be there every time in China.
Yeah.
From what I know.
I tell you, these are some of the very best events. I mean, we just went over it a little bit. And in fact, let's take a look at the groups to just show how stacked this tournament really is right now, because it is. It's like a GSL. Look at this. Group A, TY, Dark, Bunny, Penguin. We got Group B, of course, is going to be Stats, Gumiho, Rogue, and Ayasanu. 2 GSL champions in one group. Group C, Sue, Hero, Solar, and Time. And then Group D, of course, always standing for death. Innovation, Maru, Byun, and Trust. Guys, what do you think about these groups overall?
Pretty sick groups. They could have been GSL groups if No Regret was in there, but I guess we will have to make do with Trust in these guys. But no, like really, really stacked. That Group D in particular, I think like if you're a Terran player, you're going to look at that and be like, I cannot miss that. No matter what time zone you're in, you're going to have to check that out.
It's awesome and sad at the same time, because knowing that we're going to lose either Innovation or Maru or Byun in the round of 8. Maybe both. Let's not count out our one Protoss, but...
let's count him out.
No, we can't do that, Todd. It's competition after all. But that makes me sad. And like, you know, I'm a big Byun fan, and I've always loved Maru as well. Those two are the 2 Terran players that have always stood out for me the most.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you put them with Innovation in the group, it's like there's a good chance one of them is going to fall. Makes me sad, but also gives us a lot to look forward to. That's going to be played tomorrow, though. But the groups of today, pretty damn sweet, too.
Well, you talk about, you know, that group and Innovation, Byun, and Maru, 3 of the 4 horsemen. But, of course, we have TY. The returning champion of Intel Extreme Masters, taking down Katowice, getting his BlizzCon spot. This guy is on fire.
He's doing pretty good, but are we actually going to curse him this early in the tournament, Artosis?
I will always curse him. Okay, he had 2 top 8s in GSL so far this year, both of which he went up 2-0 and then lost 0-3, which means that he's like kind of slacking a little bit. You know, that's not like a normal result. But I think this guy might be the one.
I think he's in it for the money. It's clear to see. Like, we can say that. Like, he's already going to the global finals. He's had a hell of a year. Remember the start of the year, in the first few months, he won, what was it, like over 300,000?
Yep, that's correct.
And now looking to score some more cash here in Shanghai, and he's one of the absolute favorites for sure.
Yeah, he's just on fire right now, and not in that crazy group of death as well, so that's kind of nice for him not to have to face those other horsemen until a little bit later on. And, you know, of course, we have another player here, a legend within Intel Extreme Masters in Hero. This guy has won 9% of all Intel Extreme Masters tournaments. Talk to me about that.
And Roti has casted 100% of them. Because he's done 400 tournaments in his casting career.
I think I missed one of his victories. Definitely was there in San Jose, was there in Brazil as well, but I think
Singapore?
the other one... I think, yes. I've never been to Singapore in my life, so the answer is no. I came 1 map short of a WCG qualifier for it a long time ago, and I cried. I was like, man, that's so sad. I want to go to Asia once, but it's awesome watching this man play. This is definitely his stomping ground. I know that you have high hopes of him this weekend as well, Artosis.
Yeah.
And obviously we do too, Todd, because I mean, we're Protoss players by heart. We only have 3 of them, so this man better delivers, right?
Yeah, I would love to see him do well, even though he's playing well again as of late. You know, he's not like kind of like in his prime like he was a while back, and I feel like the smiling assassin has been more of a sad assassin as of late, even though he's starting to post results again.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think this year is doing pretty well for him. While a lot of Protosses are having a hard time in overall, just in these tournaments over in Korea, he's like won super tournament. He's stayed up near the top of the ladder. He's been killing it. Like, he makes the games dirty and down and scrappy. He brings you down to his level. But the guy's on fire, I think.
Yeah, I think Hero is one of these guys. You can talk about him forever, because obviously he's one of the best Protoss players in the world. But if you ask me, you know, would I take a Zest or a Stats in his prime over a Hero in his prime? The answer is probably yes, just because they make Protoss look almost unbeatable. While Hero has like these really messy games where he gets ahead, then almost throws the game, but then still wins, and everybody's like, God, if he wasn't Protoss, he wouldn't be so successful. No, I don't think that's true, but I'm excited to see him here as well. I really hope he does well, just for the legacy that he has within this tournament. He kind of needs to have a good run, but I don't know if I would pick him over Stats or one of those just scary Terran plays we have in this tournament. I mean, we got the 4 horsemen, and we got the reigning GSL champion. Good luck.
Well, if I had to make you make a prediction, Rotterdam, is there like one player here that you're like, well, if I have to bet it all on this one player, this is who it is?
No, I actually, you know, normally I spend a lot of time thinking about this as well. I don't have one yet. Obviously, one of the Terrans is an easy pick. Some people would say, like, don't pick Beyond right now, but I think you can always pick Beyond because I still believe he's one of the absolute best. Maru is still a little god, even though he's been a tiny bit disappointing lately, but it's also one day he's off, the next day he looks like Maru again, and if you look like Maru, you're doing things really right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. Maybe Dark. Like, why not? Let's get the Zerg players some love. Maybe I'm going to go with Dark, just because I think he's obviously the best and also the most badass Zerg in the world. And Solar and Su are great too. But Dark is my Zerg, man.
Okay. Todd, how about you? Do you agree with this assessment?
I'm feeling a little bit for innovation here. Like, I think he might be able to play really well, and being our recent Intellectual Masters Gyeonggi champ as well, like he's coming back here with hopes to try and repeat that performance. One thing to keep in mind, by the way, there's WCS points on the line here in this tournament, and some of these guys are still playing for that, even though we've got a couple of qualified players. Already, we've got TY Stats and Gumiho, Su pretty much guaranteed in second place. Some of these guys will want to be scoring a lot more points here. Dark is currently 7th, for example. If he wins the tournament here, you hyped him as one of the guys that could do really well. He gets 1,500 points, which is a lot.
He's basically locked at that point, I'm pretty sure, to make it to BlizzCon. Like, he's already got so many points. He's in all these tournaments still. So
still in the GSL as well, so I can pick up extra points there. But
looking good for him.
Beyond, man, our reigning GSL champion, or not GSL, reigning BlizzCon champion. He really needs to get the points because since the beginning of the year, there's some people say like, "What do you think about Beyond?" I was like, "He's gonna be there. He's gonna be there." And I've been a believer since day one. But I have to admit, if you look at the rankings now and you look at which time of the year, it's like
he's 11th right now.
It's August already.
Yeah, some of these guys aren't going to make it. But I tell you what, this is getting to be too much. I need the games to start. Okay, as fun as it is talking to you guys, and I love talking to you guys, we need to go to the stage now. We need to get these players out here and see who's going to be the champion. So let's throw it up to the stage and see how that goes.
Ladies
and of course, this is DX Master, our wonderful host here.
Also known as Chinese guy.
Oh, actually, I like to call Colaris British DX Master. So just to make that completely clear, okay, this guy's a legend.
It's really awesome. Apollo said, you know, I don't speak Chinese, and I don't really know, but last year, this guy did a killer job, man. I have no idea what he said, but he really got the audience going. So we decided to just hire him again. But Apollo still has no idea what he's saying.
Indeed. But, you know, he does do that great job, and he's going to be bringing out our first couple of players. The first match going to be Bunny against Dark. What do you guys think about this one?
I think that's a good indicator for us to see how well Dark is going to play this weekend, because Bunny is a really good Terran. I think often overlooked just because there is a stupid amount of good Terrans in Korea. But if Bunny would have been, let's say, Swedish or Dutch, we would all hype him up as saying that he probably has a really good shot there because his Bunny is so good. Obviously an underdog here, but I spoke with him a little bit. Bunny seems quite confident, man. He seems relaxed. He's like, no, I think I can win, you know. I'm solid against Zerg. Obviously, he's done it before. He has beat people like Dark, even Dark himself. But I think this is a good indicator mostly for Dark, just to see where my favorite Zerg player stands this tourney.
Okay. I'll be keeping an eye on TY against Penguin, so I can give you guys updates.
That's right.
If need be.
Don't blink, Todd. You might miss it.
You think that's going to be one-sided then?
Yeah, I mean, it's TY, right? Penguin is obviously great to see him here as well. He's going to have I'm sure a great experience, but in a group like this with TY.
You don't know for the Penguins of StarCraft, do you now?
I think it's going to be really hard for Penguin, let's be honest. You got to say how it is, guys.
The Penguins, they're all the same, man. It looks like the players are ready to come out. Dark and Bunny entering the stage. I think that this is going to be a pretty good match. Like, Bunny is in fantastic shape right now. He's in the round of 16 GSL as well.
Too bad Dark's going to smash him, right?
Too bad.
I love Dark, man. I love Dark. His video last year at the Global Finals, I think that was so beautiful. Where he really showed a lot of awesome traits of his own personality, where he just said, if I see other people win and lift trophies, it makes me pretty mad because I feel I'm way better than them, and it should always be me. And I was like, yes, you're badass. That's indeed the way you should think, you know, not like this, I want to try to show good games. Like, no, you're Dark, and you have a lot of fans, and we all love the way you play Zerg. I know you do too, Tulsa, so this is just going to be a great match. Bunny is also a great character, especially if you get to talk to him outside of these events. He's good, but Dark is the favorite. And hopefully we just have an awesome, close, competitive series.
Well, you know, I think people undervalue Bunny. He's kind of a dark horse here in this tournament because he is like the 6th or 7th best Terran in Korea. But when he is on, he is on. So this match gonna be good. Make sure to spread the word out there, guys, that the Intel Extreme Masters in Shanghai has begun, and we are going to be here for the next 4 days.
And DX Master is absolutely killing it. I
Yeah,
hope he's taking hype notes. I hope he's taking fashion notes because he was rocking that suit.
And the ponytail, too, is absolutely fantastic. Definitely would look good on Claris. Yeah, man, we're going to get this started in just a moment coming up. Final predictions. You guys are both saying Dark, but is Bunny going to take a game?
Yeah,
No.
there's a good chance, I think. Don't forget that this is a group where we also have TY, right? So a lot of these people do think ahead, and I don't know how confident Dark feels. Maybe Dark doesn't even want to show everything yet in the group. Maybe he just think, I'm just going to play some very standard games here. I'll play against TY, and whether I win or lose, then I will just step it up in the deciders match, and in the playoffs, we'll see what happens. I think taking first or second, if you take a look at Group D, that means that you either get Beyond, Maru, or Innovation, or maybe Trust, but one of those three. And is one really better than second? So, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see
that's a
some
good point.
straightforward games here. And I think it could be close, but I do think Dark takes it.
Okay, I like it. Todd?
3-0.
3-0.
Not going to break a sweat.
All right, no problem there for Dark then.
Sorry, Bunny, but why were you on the main stage? No. I think, yeah, TY and Dark should come out of that group pretty easily, and it's going to be one of the straightforward groups in here that we're going to have. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to go full Artosis, make a bold prediction, even though I'm picking the clear two favorites.
Well, that's not bold or Artosis-like at all. You know what I'm going to do?
What's Artosis like?
Bunny's going to win it 2-1. There you go. All right.
Are we keeping track of scores as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, if we're keeping track, I'm going back to Dark.
We'll see, but I think you're wrong.
All right.
As I often
All right. Well, I think we're just about ready to get into the game, so we have to throw it over to our casters, which will be Pig, and of course, the British DX Master. Guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Artosis. Indeed, the British DX Master, joined by his Australian Artosis, if we can even call him that. How are you doing, Pig? You good?
I am feeling good, man. We're out here in China. We're having a great time already, and jumping straight into the action with some Zerg versus Terran. Been looking forward to these matches. Of course, Bunny, someone who flies under the radar a little bit, but I think he's actually going to give a good shot. And I might have even said he was favored to win, but now that Dan's gone and cursed him, hope's going out the window.
Bad times, bad times. Feels like ages ago since I cast a Premier tournament, but here we go nonetheless for StarCraft II, as we do have our first series of the day. Spoiling up to the top left, we have our blue Terran. It is going to be Bunny, who for me, in the past, has kind of been stable but uneventful, but as of late, he's gathered momentum in SSL and GSL.
He's going further and further, but standing in his way down here is an absolute powerhouse. The BlizzCon runner-up from last year, it is Dark.
That's right, Dark, always looking very, very good himself. And you know what's funny when I kind of look at Dark is that every single Intel Extreme Masters he's been to, he's always been in the semi-final. Every single time, but he has never gone further. He's never gone... Yeah. I say he hasn't even been eliminated before that, which is impressive in itself. But I think he'll be looking for a high finish here at Shanghai.
Absolutely, and he expects it of himself. He's not a player who kind of wants to bow out early. He's a guy who can go the distance and does take every loss very hard. You know, Dark first started really making waves in, I guess, early 2015 as like a big kind of contender, but it was a while before he started consistently getting to the absolute highest ranks. But he hasn't really strung together one of those absolutely insane, like 2 or 3 tournament wins in a row or anything like that just yet. So he is still looking for that kind of dominant streak, and it's evaded him so far. He's had the odd championship. He won, of course, some Star Leagues last year, did some really high finishes. Of course, second in BlizzCon, not a bad finish at all, but his ambition knows no bounds. Dark wants more.
Dark, a fast player as well, and we always see him kind of out-macroing his opponents, which is something that kind of really stands out for me. And we'll see if he's going to be able to deal with this Reaper at the beginning, just sending 2 Lings over to the left-hand side. This Reaper shouldn't get too much done here against Dark.
Sneaky Zergling, seeing the hatchery, he's just going to be like, oh, there's probably Zerglings out on the map. Let's go back and defend that command center. And, I mean, the Zerglings had to take the long way around, so looks like the Reaper should get back there in time. The Zergling's going to try and pick off that SCV, but there is a single Marine out to help protect it. So all good for Bunny right now. He's going into a fast factory behind this, so going to be a relatively typical Hellion opening to start things off.
Gonna be hard for that Marine to stay alive, and doesn't even get one of the Lings there, so a little bit of poor focus fire, but at the same time, the Reaper comes back, starts cleaning things up, and getting that done. So at least it didn't disrupt the command center at all, which is nice here for Bunny on the other side.
And he's going to be going into those nice fast Hellions. He's got that starport already well underway. This is a map where we've seen Hellion drops quite a bit in the past, and quite a lot of Banshees as well. And the reason for that is there's a lot of dead space around the edges of the map. Lots of angles you can sneak in behind those mineral lines with Banshees, Liberators, Hellion drops, and gives the Terran a big opportunity to be very mobile with the early pressure.
Nice little take of a third down here for Dark, but the Reaper's going to spot it instantaneously, which gives Bunny opportunity to then maybe start pressuring down that way, knowing that that's going to be where some of the more valuable bases are for Dark, as the Hellions now moving out to the middle of the map.
Oh, and there's going to be Ravens on the way, James. So it's going to be Raven harass, auto turrets coming in. One of the most annoying things, I think it was actually like Special we saw recently, just absolutely destroyed Curious in GSL with this Raven harass. And it's such a great map for it. It's very, very powerful because a lot of Zergs are delaying that lair. They're not getting out any mutas or anything that can chase the Ravens down, and that's definitely the case here with Dark, investing in that Overlord speed already, going for a Roach Warren. A lair is going to be really, really far down the track, so there's going to be no easy way to shut down that that auto turret harass.
That Reaper came in, from that angle, him going for that harassment, it felt like he just wanted the Reaper in so he could see what tech was going on, but he didn't see anything really, as the Roach Warren is placed down towards the natural, so it's a bit more difficult here for Bunny to get full read on what's going on right now with Dark.
Yeah, this Overlord coverage is great from Dark. He's always got forward warning of these Hellions and Reapers, and as a result, his Queens are always able to move up into position.
Yeah.
Roaches are about to pop. He's got a few Zerglings here in case the Hellions try to dart past, but it looks like Bunny just going to engage those Queens a little bit, trying to take down those hit points. Behind this, that Raven is making its way across the map. It's getting in position. A Cloaked Banshee is going to be following that up. Lots of different tech coming out of Bunny while he adds the third command center behind this.
No drones at the third base just yet, so even an auto turret that would go down there wouldn't really do too much. That's why the Lings were placed at the natural, just protecting that for when an auto turret would go down, so that he could defend against that. So not looking too bad here is Dark in his defense. Likewise, Bunny hasn't really been deterred on his side of the map. He's just trying to keep macroing up.
Ooh, a lot of Zerglings coming out now here for Dark. He's actually going to go for a Roach Ling bust. He's got 9 Roaches and about 30 Zerglings. 3 more Roaches on the way behind this. This isn't an all-in by any means, but he wants to get some damage done. Even a couple of Queens in that Overlord.
And the Reaper went into the main base and basically saw nothing, just saw the layer morphing in, and that was about it. So other than that now, all of that is going to be knocking on his doorstep. And the Hellions, they're not even at home. They're all the way over on the other side of the map.
Oh, the bunker is going to just barely get up, but there's so few units to get in.
Oh my God.
Bunny's gone 3 barracks. He's got a siege tank almost out. Another Banshee comes out with the Queens dropping down. Oh, there we go. Those Banshees, they've got Cloak.
I mean, they have Cloak, but when the layer finishes up, eventually if an Overlord can morph in, but this is a lot of damage anyway. The Lings and the Roaches at the front here trying to break down that bunker.
Wow, the bunker's still standing. The tank's going to get out here as well. Kalaris, I think Bunny's actually hanging on.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Those Cloak Banshees really working off so well here against all of this.
Wow.
One Hellion gets in and tries to roast up some drones and kills a few, actually.
This is such good defense here from Bunny, only losing 4 SCVs. His command center absorbing so much damage, but not actually dying. Very nice play. And yeah, that's just really well done. His Raven is, back at home. It's got a ton of energy. Just going to drop an auto turret to help clear out these Overlords.
Why not? Get some free kills here and there before they actually retreat out. Now that they have pneumatized carapace, very easy for them to, eventually try and get away, but only one manages to buy the skin of its teeth. And now Bunny's starting his upgrades, getting them rolling, getting it going. Dark on the other side doesn't really have many upgrades going whatsoever.
Oh man, not at all. Look at this, his main base is completely empty of drones right now.
Yeah.
Dark does not have a big economy. That was a great hold from Bunny. Going for the fast second and third barracks, but also not committing to double Ravens was the big key there. If he didn't have out both Banshees with Cloak, he would have been in a lot of trouble, but having the Banshees with Cloak, snipe down the Queen, snipe down the Ravagers, that was the key to that hold. So Bunny actually playing a very safe game here against Dark, and so far it's paying off for him.
And even if the layer was like maybe 20 seconds earlier and he had an Overseer over there, it was only 2 Queens for the anti-air against 2 Cloaked Banshees. So they would have had a hard time actually gunning them down anyway and saving that situation. But these auto turrets are doing well for Bunny at the moment. 100 supply now against the 86.
Wow. Dude, 1-1 is already finished, and the +1 carapace is only just now starting. Bunny is so far ahead in upgrades. The creep is starting to get out there a little bit for Dark. but Dark is going to be playing this game very far from behind. I mean, the only way I see him making it back into this is that magic corrosive bile fungal combo, which he's so well known for, but Bunny's not going to give him time. He's moving out across this map, James.
No, not at all. Good scan, drops down, gets some of these creep tumors, didn't get the active ones up to the top, but realizes that there isn't much of a standing force here. So he can press his advantage onto this base and try and do some big, big damage. Some more Ravagers going to be morphing up towards the top here, but this hatchery is going to fall so fast.
Wow, back down to 2 bases there. The Ravagers come forward, they get 1 siege tank, but he has to sacrifice his entire army.
Yeah.
Massive hits there.
GG, great start here for Bunny here in this best of 3. And overall, it kind of comes back to what we were saying before. As much as a lot of Bunny's career has been stable but uneventful is the way I like to describe him, he's really hit his stride lately. With GSL, with SSL, he's taken out the likes of, Sue in some of these games where he's actually being victorious. Not convincing 2-0, but 2-1s. So for him to take that game there is a great start for him here.
I'm sure for a lot of fans out there, it's spot on, James. It's like, for them, a big surprise. People look at Dark, they say he's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Bunny doesn't have any championships under his belt. He doesn't have any of these top 4 performances, but now showing that he's got what it takes there to take that first game. And I got to think, about that Ravager Zergling. Didn't quite work out there for Dark. We'll have to find out what he does in the next one.
All right, well, we're going to go to a short break before we get to game number 2 here for the Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai. Dark goes up against Bunny.
Do you want to feel like a pro gamer? Wait no more. Greatness awaits you with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks. When you see unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you will find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and Core i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the total prize purse of Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. Feel like a pro.
I'll let you know because it depends if he attacks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai. We just saw Bunny take down Dark after a failed Roach attack. And of course, Todd, over on your laptop, why don't you tell us what's already happened and what's going on?
I just saw a mauling happen that was even more one-sided than that bear in the Revenant against Leonardo DiCaprio, as TY just absolutely smashed Penguin in game 1. Before Penguin left, there was 100 supply difference. Very rarely will you see that.
That much supply?
Yeah, usually it's fantasy playing when that happens, but right now TY, he's using Hellbats all over the place against Penguin in game 2, and he's starting to fry drones left and right, and it's not looking too good, I think, for Penguin.
Oh no, that doesn't look too good at all. Look at that, 13 drones already dead. That's not a lucky number.
No, not this time. Not if you're the Zerg player in this case. Kind of a slow reaction time there as well. Was too busy perhaps with the Hellbat, but more drones will fall.
Oh my God.
If you thought game number 1 was ugly.
Guys, I think we tuned in at the right time.
He's putting some Shanghai heat on these drones. 31 falling down. It looks like Penguin might be going that loser match very shortly here.
Yeah, surprising. Talking a little bit about the game on the main stage that we had. That was obviously a surprising game. It felt a little uninspiring what Dark was doing there. Almost like autopilot, you know, cruising a little. Let's pick up 2 queens. But like, there was no way that that attack was ever going to do any damage. Obviously, it was very well handled by Bunny.
Yeah.
But he had Cloak Banshees and there was no Overseer.
I know, it's brutal. He just didn't realize that Cloak was done, I guess. But we'll see if Dark can bring it back, guys. I think we're just about ready. So let's throw it over to those commentators and see if Dark can fight back against Bunny.
Thank you very much, guys. As we get into game number 2 here in just a few moments' time, it's going to be on Odyssey. And Bunny with that 1-0 lead right now, Pig. Looking good in that game. Was able to retort to what we saw in that little attack coming out from Dark very nicely.
Yeah, standard clean play from Bunny. I mean, he was just trying to build up, do little bits of pressure. He wasn't overextending with the Hellions. The Raven was a nice touch, but I think Roddy touched on it there, you know, the Banshees just absolutely shut it down, and we could probably even be a little bit critical of how Dark controlled the attack and that all of his Zerglings were kind of funneling through.
Yeah.
He did almost 1,000 hit points of damage to the command center, and you've got to think, well, okay, sure, you didn't have the surface area to do that elsewhere, but maybe he should have just turned around and ran away. Maybe he should have done something a little bit differently there. Not a great attack. Bunny, just playing a very standard safe style, crushed it. And now pressure's on Dark. I mean, he's had a few disappointing performances in GSL this year, and he's got to turn it around now.
Yes, he does. Otherwise, he'll be going down to the lower game here in Group A. Let's get into game number 2 as we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner in the blue. In 1 game up, it is Bunny. Good start from him.
And his opponent up here in the top left-hand side in the red, it is Dark.
Not the best start for him in this series, to say the least. But as they were mentioning on the desk, a little uninspired as a play, considering this is the guy that we normally see going into the mid-game, going into the later stages of the game, and looking absolutely soul-destroying for his opponent. So it's, let's see what Bunny's going to go up against here on this map.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of what makes Dark a challenging opponent to play against. Is even when you know you're the underdog, he's very likely to mix in some aggression.
Yeah.
And yes, it could be an attack like that where he's still got 40 drones. It's not a complete all-in, but if he thinks he recognizes a pattern in how you're playing, he's going to take advantage of it. So I very well can imagine him watching a bunch of Bunny's games before this saying, oh, he keeps going double Raven. You know, it's fantastic against that, a big Ravager Ling push. And of course, the Siege Tank wasn't ready in time. And if it was a second Raven, it drops an auto turret. He kind of ignores it, crashes through the wall and wins the game. But the 2 Banshees straight after that first Raven, just a very safe way for Bunny to play. Dark wasn't ready for it, and now he's going to have to go back in a safer direction.
I did like Bunny's killer instinct off the back of that, though, as well. When he was moving on to the 3rd base and drops a scan, sees the extent of his opponent's army, and it's like, well, actually, if that's all you have, I'm going to take your 3rd right here, right now. Most Terrans would kind of bounce around a little bit, clear a little bit more of that creep, not extend too far, but Bunny's decision-making there, I thought, was brilliant. Really well done.
Very decisive play, and that's what you got to be to take down a player like Dark. We've seen him make some incredible comebacks in the past if you let him get up to Infestors and Corrosive Bile, and then the dreaded Ultralisks as well. He's a master of late game. Of course, we are going to be seeing that pool first. Once again, gas pool opening out of Dark. And Bunny just going for the Reaper into Marine, into the Reactor Factory. So mirror of last game so far. And yeah, once again, we're going to see that Reaper spot the hatchery and go, that's not done yet. Go home, go home. And he's going to try and get back there. And that Marine's going to have to try and stay alive. This is a longer map, so these Zerglings are going to have a few seconds extra here before that Reaper gets back. They might be able to pick off that SCV if they focus fire well.
The SCV is going to come off the line as well there, just to make sure he can provide a little bit extra firepower against these leads. And he does do well. That was in part thanks to that SCV actually being pulled off the command center. Great micro.
Well done. And what's so good here is Dark didn't see up the ramp.
Yeah.
So he didn't actually see what the transition is at all. I don't think Dark has any idea that this is a 3 command center follow-up. So Bunny here, he's actually hidden the fact that he's only on 1 gas. He's going for that 3rd command center. He's just going to get out about 4 Hellions and then just have like an explosion into upgrades, bio, medevacs. And if Dark doesn't have any idea about this, he might just play a little bit too safe.
Just slightly demotivating a spot that there for Dark, as he didn't get that Marine. Now this Reaper's being annoying and pesky over towards the 3rd base, jumps up, gets away, but he'll die in a moment.
Sorry, there's a few Zergs watching out there who've experienced that Reaper who just keeps evading death with a couple of hit points, but not today. Dark Zerglings do trap him. Hellions are going to come across the map. They're just poking around, looking to see what's up behind this. Stim is on the way, Marines. No doubt will be a 3 barracks follow-up into the double engineering bay, and then a delayed starport. Standard as standard can be, and I think Dark has spotted it now. That Overlord just came through that main base. It does get shoot out, but now Dark has the information. He knows, okay, there isn't any real threat from you for a while. I've got to just hold down that drone hotkey. I got to pump out that economy to catch back up.
That's the early advantage of having that Overlord speed, right? It's so good. Just be able to get in there, get back out, not necessarily even lose the Overlord as he did there. So very, very well done. And now, let's see what these Hellions are going to be able to get done. Unlikely to get much done with 2 alone.
Yeah, it's kind of... Ooh, he's going to try and dive in with a couple of Hellions here. Wants to see what's up. Obviously, would love to see if there's some roaches or something popping out, but I think seeing just a couple Zerglings, healthy saturation on the natural, seeing the 3rd finish, Bunny's just going, oh, okay, you're doing all the normal things. And behind this, he's actually going right up his barracks count very high. No starport on the way yet, and there is a tech lab on the factory. What is this build from Bunny? I think he's going to go for a big all-in attack here with 1-1. Maybe he's got to drop that starport soon. Looking to start the siege tank production very early, though. This is very peculiar.
He has 4 Marines and 4 Hellions out right now. A few more are going to pop out in a second, but these Lings are already going to be annoying. And the Roaches, a huge swell, an intrusion of Roaches moving through the middle, is going to cause him a little bit of a flustered moment here as he tries to get out more units.
Oh, Zergling dropping the main base is just ripping apart the mineral line. He's not reacting. Bunny with such a slow response, they're already losing 11 SCVs. That is massive, and there's 13 Roaches on the front, a lot of them morphing into Ravagers. Hellions not going to be very useful against that. That siege tank is not out just yet. Bunny here, he's got to try to hang on 3 bunkers, frantically trying to finish, but a lot of his Marines are stuck up in the main base defending the Zerglings.
Once again, no upgrades are behind this here for Dark, so he does want extra damage here. Thankfully, he will be able to slow down the upgrades for Bunny on the other side, despite him already doing some good damage as well anyway, as we will have that extra upgrade being shot down as well. Very nice start for Dark on this aggression.
Yeah, gonna get the double upgrades, which is nice, but he is actually flooding Zerglings behind this, and this worries me a little bit. He's committing so much, he will need to break through, and that is 3 bunkers. Glarus, he's going.
Oh my God.
He jumps in, gets the siege tank. That siege tank was too exposed. The Marines stim forward. They want to get some kills, but this is so risky. You've got to stay near those bunkers, Bunny.
There wasn't that many Roaches at the front there, so he was trying to exploit the fact that there wasn't much to tank for these Ravagers as they're going to move forwards again, try and focus them down, but here comes the flood of Lings now, trying to nibble at those Marines as they get back to the bunkers, and more are going to be dropped into the main. There's nothing to defend it again.
Dark here just picking apart at Bunny. That siege tank going down has allowed Dark to just come in over and over again, dropping these corrosive vials. Zerglings going ham. Bunny still has a higher worker count right now, but that siege tank in the open, he's got to keep it alive.
Yeah, and he can't really siege it up too easily because he knows that the Ravagers will just throw corrosive vials on it. Has to keep it unsieged so he can move it around whenever he needs to. SCVs have to be brought off the line again to try and save themselves. Corrosive vials in between these 2 locations here to zone out that siege tank as well as the Marines. He's done so much damage.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be that moment where he breaks through Dark. Manages to overwhelm Bunny there and ties it up 1-1. I'm really surprised at how that game went. Ooh, I feel like Bunny there is triple bunker, siege tank.
Yeah.
If he sieges that tank back a little bit further, if he doesn't lose so many SCVs in the main, Bunny holds there, and even despite losing his upgrades, Dark didn't have any upgrades on the way.
Yeah.
He would have been way behind. But Bunny, I think he didn't expect it to be such an all-in follow-up from Dark, underestimated it, and Dark manages to sneak one by him there.
Yeah, not too bad. I think that for Bunny, it felt kind of panic mode. As soon as he'd lost some of those SCVs in the main base, not having, he had 4 Hellions at the time, 4 Marines. I think some of the Hellions were out on the map that were trying to pose a threat to Dark. But other than that, losing 11 SCVs to that initial Zergling attack alone, and then having to deal with it at the front,
Yeah.
that had to have been panic rife in his mind.
Definitely a little bit thrown off there. Got to agree with you on that one, James. And it's one of these high-pressure moments where you kind of go, okay, if I win this next map, I'm going to take Dark down. I'm going to go through to the winners match of the group. You get a little bit excited, and sometimes that does happen. It's something which can be very tilting as well. It can really throw you off because there's the moment when you look back and you realize those Zerglings have been in there for about 10 seconds without you noticing.
Right, yeah.
And you're like, this never happens in practice. This never happens on ladder. And of course, you get here on this stage, you get to this live event, and suddenly there's a lot on the line, there's a lot of pressure. And Bunny, I mean, he's still got a chance here on Proxima Station.
You can see just like when we look at them in their body language, Bunny kind of shaking his hands about a little bit, playing with his hair some. Dark usually looks very kind of calm, collected, even after that first game that he'd lost when we saw him on camera. Calm and collected. So he's had more experience on these stages than Bunny has. As much as Bunny has had a storied past and tournament experience, not quite to the level as someone like Dark, a tournament champion.
Not at all. Of course, it is going to go through to the third map. Both players are tied up 1-1. We're going to be launching into Proxima Station.
All right, spawning up to the top right-hand corner here in the blue, we do have Bunny looking to bring back this series against his opponent to the bottom left.
The powerhouse Zerg in the red, in the bottom, it is Dark.
Very, very similar build to the one we saw in game number 1, but just dealt with in a very unfortunate way there by Bunny for game number 2. I think that as much as even if he'd have gone kind of similar path of like going for cloak banshees, etc., probably would have had a bit of an easier time dealing with it. But it came very fast for Dark once again.
It's this really awkward interaction you get there, right? Where bunkers, Marines, they've got stim, but they don't have combat shields.
Yeah.
You go into the open and you either massacre the Zerglings and Ravagers really one-sidedly, or you get completely massacred because both armies are so fragile but very high damage output. And, Dark, once he got the siege tank, he was able to outrange him with the corrosive vials. He did that very, very well. And now on this map, though, I mean, we're seeing 2 Ravager Ling busts here on Proxima Station. Are you going to go up that tiny little choke point, that tiny little ramp? I don't think so. So Dark definitely going to have to change up his style here.
You have a very weird timer above your head as a Terran as well at that point, right? Because you've got stim as Marines, but you don't have any medevacs. So you can only be like, only so often stimming back and forth and just trying this when if the Zerg's going to prolong it, you're like, please go away, please go away.
That's that moment, right? Yeah, you stim out and you're like, oh, cool. I'm going to hunt down the last Ravagers and another 40 Zerg is going to be like, oh, you were still building army units. Get back in the bunkers, quick.
Good old Starship Troopers. Run away for your lives against the swarm. But anyway, let's see now what Bunny's going to do. I think he might go back to a game 1 plan. Like, try and get some, maybe get one Raven out for some auto-turret harassment.
Yeah.
It's not too bad a map for it if you can kind of wiggle it around the back towards the usual main base and pocket expansion, which obviously Dark hasn't taken here because he wants to get his group spread going nice and fast.
Got to agree with you, James. I mean, this is like the map that was made for Raven harass. 360 degrees to come from. Like, the Zerglings, the Queens, are never really going to be in the exact right spot, so it doesn't quite work out that way. Reaper here going to come and harass these Zerglings. Of course, was a hatchery first this time around. Dark, knowing that on this map he wouldn't be able to sneak any Zerglings in.
Yeah, very difficult to get up that ramp considering Terran's just going to wall it off. Pocket expansion taken by Bunny. And this Queen will ward away this Reaper to start things. Reapers have a little bit of a harder time on this map getting into the main base especially. Very little room for them to actually get in.
Ooh, looks like we're going to be seeing a second barracks follow-up for Bunny. So he's going to be going for the 2-1-1, the double medevac Marine drop, straight into Bioplay, of course. So you're going to be very multi-pronged drop-focused, and of course, some players like to add Liberators in a little bit later after that. But just generally, it's always about kind of taking advantage of those drop angles, and especially when Dark goes for a 4th base, it's so hard to spread out there, and especially when you're relying on Queens for anti-air. There's this very slow unit. Even when you get creep to that 4th, it's so hard to get Queens back into your main, back into your natural, and defend the 4th at the same time. So Bunny gonna show the multi-prong drops, which he has used a lot in the past. All of his most impressive TvZs, for me, weren't when he was playing weird mech styles at the start of this year.
Right.
It's when he's dropping in 3 or 4 places at once.
Are you one of the Terrans that advocates Liberator range on this map? I know that some people love it.
I think it can be so sick. I don't think you do it every game on this map, but I mean, if you look at the way a lot of Zergs are playing, look at this for Dark. Do you think he's going to get a lair anytime soon? Maybe, but probably not. A lot of players love to go double upgrades before lair. Not today.
No. Poor guy.
Just barely clawed the jetpack as he was taking off. Didn't quite work out for that Reaper, but he got his job done. He was annoying. He saw what was up. And we are going to be seeing a fast carapace upgrade for Dark. Looks like some single evolution chamber play to start things off. A lot of Queens, a lot of Zerglings. No Roach Warren just yet.
Crew spray going fast now through the middle of the map. Foster tries to break down these rocks. So, as we mentioned before, you know, that taking that expansion at the front allows you to propel that creep spread forwards nicely here for Dark. So, there is definitely the potential that he moves this into a later game. As much as he's making 14 lings right now, it's probably just to kind of ward away the drops that he knows are going to be coming pretty soon.
Oh, this is so cool. He's already split up his first 2 drops. Normally, you always see the first 2 medevacs stick together, try to hit one hard-hitting sort of like just straight in the middle, trying to kill them, but instead he's splitting them up. He's hunting down overlords, and he's waiting for a few more units. He's also got a cyclone coming out, which is going to help tank. And yeah, with the next medevacs, he's going to have a really powerful attack hitting.
Especially with the Baneling nest only just started. Although usually Zerg's able to buy time enough for the Banelings to start morphing in. So let's see if they're able to come in. Layers on the way as well. He sees these drops on the right-hand side with his creep tumors.
Oh, those Queens. They are in a pretty nice position. Zerglings covering the unload in the main. Queen's covering down there. Bunny would love to find an angle. Oh, Dark slightly out of position. Only a few Zerglings here. And I think Bunny's very happy to drop on top of that.
Drop some Marines on the other side as well. I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but he's going to pick them up and bring them on forward. But it actually provided a little bit of damage on the other side for the Zerglings not to actually go there and encroach on where the Marines were dropping. A big force at the moment trying to push on towards these Queens. The Lings are going to go for a wraparound here, and I think the Marines are going to do just fine against this.
That's a lot of Marines. The damage grade's crazy. The Queens are starting to finally whittle them down. It looks like Dark just barely has enough there. That was so close to spiraling out of control, man.
I underestimated the power of having that much transfuse. That was strong stuff. But he lost a lot of Zerglings for it. They're not that expensive in the grand scheme of things, of course.
And the resources lost is in favor of Bunny. But, you know, it's definitely something where he gives up a bit of that map control and aggression, and you can see the creep starting to get out of control. Bunny went for the main base, he went in there, and now he's only got a few units at the front. His creep is going to be able to get shut down really hard.
I don't know if you can hear that at home, but it's a loud party here in Shanghai at the moment.
The fans here at China Joy, they are excited. There's a lot of stuff going on, and they want to drop the bass even louder than Bunny wants to drop these Marines on these mineral lands, man.
That's right. I mean, it's the biggest gaming festival in the whole of Asia, I think. So
oh, really?
Wow. That's China Joy, man. Every year.
And we've been here many times before. It always is fun. Whoa, 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 whoa. Blast from the past.
Oh, my
Dark
God.
is going for a hive at 7 minutes. This is some old school style. This is really cool. We are seeing this start to make its way back into the meta a little bit. Oh, double Liberator coming out for Bunny. Dark did spot it. He's going to have his Queens in position because he's going to go for this multi-prong plus Liberator harassment. Bunny really needs to get some damage done before that hive kicks in.
So I guess the carapace upgrades are all to push towards Ultralisks, right? Just get the kindness plating down the line as well and have those guys super tanky. These Liberators don't have range. The armor's just finished up, but that's by the by, because they're going to be annoying regardless.
Oh, double drop on the back of the natural while the drop clears up creep at the front. And the double Liberator hits the main and the natural. Queen's already in position, though.
It's a really good setup to defend against it. The Spore Crawler's burrowing in the right spots. He lost a Queen or two during that, but that's it, really. A little bit of lost mining time, but that was a good defense by Dark.
Dark in a nutshell. The one guy who makes defending 4 locations at once look easy. He just shut it down.
Yeah.
Bunny put so much preparation into that pressure, didn't get anything out of it. Now he's only just starting his +2 attack. +2 carapace is well on the way for Dark. His Hive is finished. He's going to be able to start his Ultralisk Cavern in a moment. Things are looking very good for Dark right now. Adrenal Glands on the way. But the pressure's not done. Bunny's still looking for an angle.
And there's no Spore Crawler here to reposition itself, so it's only just going to be about Queens. Thankfully, the Liberator's already damaged quite a bit. Lings and Banelings at the front. Try and chase down that Marine force, and we'll get rid of it. That one Cyclone's being a nuisance, but it's not too much of a big deal for those Lings and Banes.
His drops just continuing to be as annoying as they possibly can. A couple of Widowmine shots going off here. Dark, his Ultra Cavern was quite delayed. He was so distracted by all of this pressure. But now he's finally starting to get towards those Ultras. He's going to go in for an engage. The Widowmine hits are quite large, but he does force all of that Terran army to pick up, clears up the Widowmines.
Dark overall saved quite a few of his Banelings at the back, so at least he has that for another force once again. That buys him time to then wild him more Banelings once that push comes at the front, because it's going to continue here for Bunny, who at the moment is doing well in his army supply. 77 to 67. More Banelings to the morph in here. Marines being pre-spread to try and go up against this again. He knows that some of those Widow Mines are going to reload. There's only one at the back, actually.
Yeah, he cleared up most of them there, so that was pretty good. We're going to go into first-person view of Dark here. He's defending this pressure. Look at the way he's splitting his units up. He's trying to just buy time for those Ultras to come out, even trying to break those rocks down so he can get down to that gold base, and he's just going to keep on trying to delay this fight. He doesn't want to attack into that pre-spread. And look at this counter-attack, Caleris.
There's no reason for him to. I mean, there's 2 Ultralisks about to pop, so if he has those at the front with his army, he's going to be in a great spot here. And he's going to move around with those Lings, as you were mentioning. This is really going to catch Bunny unaware. I mean, there are some reinforcements here. Those 2 Widow Mines could cause a little bit of damage, but he will pull back from them.
And already this slows down the push quite a bit. Queen's having to come forward to engage the Liberators. Ultraling Bane crashing through.
Yeah, those 2 Ultralisks are going to do quite a bit of damage, but at the same time, there's a lot more Lings that actually were coming from the back as well. These Marines are going to have to pick up and get on out of there. But he knows that his time at the front is done. With that Liberator also getting chunked down by those Queens. Retreats away, and Dark has bought more time for more Ultralisks in production.
And you know, Bunny does not have a 4th base to fall back on here. He has been 3 base for life. He's got a couple Widow Mines, Marines, and Marauders coming up, but he's only got 2 Tech Labs building Marauders right now. That is not a lot of anti-Ultralisk. He's only got +2 attack with +3 Carapace and Chitinous plating almost finished. The only thing going for Bunny right now is that he's still up a little bit in supply. He's got a healthy 3 base economy. And he's got Liberators already on the way, but if he can't establish a 4th, his income is going to start to drop very quickly, and we can already see that reflected in the income tab, with Bunny about 800 minerals a minute behind.
Well, we say healthy 3 base. I mean, the main base is just running out almost. So he's even in worse economical shape than we were initially anticipating here.
Yeah.
So he's got to be very, very careful here against Dark, who is creating a very efficient army. With those Ultralisks at the front, if he doesn't have enough Marauders to deal with it, he is going to be in no man's land.
This drop does get chewed out. Ultra Ling Bane on the 4th as well. He is ready.
And still not a bad army here for Bunny as it stands, as the Widowmine's not really going to connect with much. This is going to be pushed back. The Ultras, there's just nothing to rival them at the moment. The few Marauders that are out are trickling out. They don't have +3 weapons. They're going up against +3 with chitinous plating in just a second's time, and they are going to be tanky as anything.
The one problem for Dark is he doesn't have a lot of anti-air to deal with the Liberators. He's having to just counterattack by running past. And Bunny's taking advantage of this. He keeps splitting his drops up, but oh man, the Queens focus fire the drops in the main. These Zerglings get a couple of SCV kills. on the back as well. Bunny, he's maintaining this position. Looks like he should be able to snipe the gold. But look at that production tab, James. 8 Corruptors on the way, and that is going to spell the end of these Liberators.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit scary here for Bunny. As much as he was putting on the aggression, gets himself that base, at least forces that away. He might get one Ultra, but no, gets pulled back. Dark too good, multitasking, keeping some of these units, expensive units, alive at the front. And then, as you say, with those Corruptors out, his army is going to be so well-rounded.
Oh, yeah. He's got the whole package right now. The only thing he could add on top of this is Broodlords and Vipers and Infestors, maybe, but you really don't need that. When you're playing against a 3-base Terran, there is no way Bunny is going to afford a lot of Liberators. He's not going to afford a lot of Ghosts. This is his one last push, Kalaris.
And they're staring down a huge wall of Ultralists. He's going to have to walk with the wave with his tail between his legs if he's not careful. There's not enough firepower in this bio initially, but he's kiting well down towards the bottom. The Lings were in support with the Ultralists there, but here come the Lings and Banelings as well, trying to force this away.
That was about the best fight Bunny could hope for. They're fighting on the ramp, but he loses all the medevacs, all the Liberators. The Corruptors taking out those valuable units, and he's even going to catch the full dropships that were trying to retreat there. Oh, that's the last of Bunny's hopes, trickling out of the hourglass. Dark here showing he's just a little bit too strong.
And while that was going on for Bunny, or at least putting on pressure, he needed to fly away his command center from the main, as well as the SCVs, to a 4th location. That didn't happen, so his economy has suffered greatly because of it. And now, how is he going to do anything at the front against this? It's going to monster mode him. It's good SimCity to try and slow down this melee-based army, but once he crushes this wall, Lings will filter through. SCVs have to come off the line against an Ultralist, and that's never a good time.
You can wall, but you can't hide, Kalaris. Right now, that is just a desperate little pack of bio. They are injecting as many stim packs as possible because they're trying to get the damage done, but they're even out of medevacs. There's no healing. The Corruptors are just flying their wiggly jellyfish bodies over the field of battle. It's pretty much a celebration at this point because Dark has so much money, so many units, and he is overwhelming.
A minor blip at the beginning of this series results in a 2-1. GG, Dark takes it to the start the Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai, and he will move on to the winners match here in Group A.
Very well played there by Dark. Does come back after that first loss in game number 1. Dicey moment in game number 2 there, where it looked like his attack might not work. Did manage to break through Bunny, and then on Proxima Station, Dark just was ready at every turn.
For Bunny, he's going to have to recoup his losses here in this group because it's a tough group. You've got other people like TY in there. So with staring down people like TY and Dark potentially down the line in this group,
You've got to take one of them out. If you want to go through, you have to beat a TY or a Dark.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. And it's definitely a big task. He's showed that he definitely can go toe-to-toe with him in some matches, though. Is his TvT up to the task? If he faces TY, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, we will, as Dark moves on to the winners match, as we mentioned. And it's a good start for him. But we're going to go to a short break. And when we return, more action here from the Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai.